Welcome to Shaggy-Shane's Kansas City Chiefs bye-week breakdown. Sunday, November 25th, 2018. My guest to my left is none other than the man you saw me sitting here for my prediction show earlier on Labor Day weekend, the one and only Clay Wendler from Red Tribe Cinema. How the hell is it going, Clay?
Doing good. Chiefs are doing good. Looking forward to the last 5 weeks.
We are in the stretch run. The Chiefs are 9-2. We got a game and a half lead over the Chargers. Chargers are getting ready to play here at 3 o'clock. What do you think going forward? What do you think needs to happen for the Chiefs to finish this out and become the #1 seed, Clay?
Chiefs just have to be the Chiefs. The team that we have seen for the first 11 weeks, they're good enough to win out and claim the #1 seed. They just need to keep doing what they've been doing. That's going to be enough, more than enough, to sweep the rest of the schedule, finish 14-2, take the first seed.
Clay, it's been a magical season. Since the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes, I felt it right here in my heart. And people think I'm crazy. People think I put too much on Patrick's shoulders. But Patrick Mahomes is strong enough to put this team, this franchise, the Chiefs Kingdom fan base on his shoulders. He's breaking records. And from our prediction show on Labor Day weekend, I said Patrick Mahomes would pass for 3,815 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Well, at this time, with 5 games left, Patrick Mahomes has to only throw 1 touchdown and 6 more interceptions and 240 yards to reach my prediction. You think I'm pretty close, or do you think he's going to bust my prediction out of the water?
I think you were completely dead wrong. We were all dead wrong, though.
I know, what'd you say, 30 touchdowns and 15 interceptions?
Something like that, and I could not have been more wrong.
Wow, okay. A lot of excitement. We're hearing that the man that carried the Chiefs for many, many years is coming back at safety in Eric Berry. What do you feel he brings to the team? Back to the team.
Well, the first thing I want to see with Eric Berry is, can he get through a week of practice? If Eric Berry can get through a week of practice and doesn't have any setbacks, then I have a really good feeling about the impact he could make this year. So if he can get through practice and get through a game, I feel like he could be a huge factor in the Chiefs' run defense. He could be a huge factor in the red zone. I feel like he's probably not going to be what he was for sure, but they don't need him to be what he was. They need him to be a solid NFL safety, which is something they've really mostly lacked this year. So if he can give him that, that can make a huge difference for this team.
Eric Berry brings back leadership. Eric Berry brings back heart. Eric Berry's play in 2016 was the sole reason that the Kansas City Chiefs finished 12-4 and had a first-round bye and was the 2nd seed going into the playoffs that year. The last game that Eric Berry played, four quarters, was the Pittsburgh Steelers game. In Bob Sutton's bend but don't break defense, Eric Berry was the man. The Kansas City Chiefs held the Steelers to 6 field goals and still lost. Le'Veon Bell still rushed for over 170 yards. Antonio Brown still had 100 yards of receiving, but Bob Sutton, along with Eric Berry as the starting safety, still held the Steelers to 6 field goals. I guarantee you, if the Chiefs play a home game at Arrowhead Stadium in the divisional round, if Bob Sutton's bend but don't break defense holds an opponent to 6 field goals with Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win that game by at least 10. What do you think about that, Clay?
I think there's no question if any team comes into Arrowhead and scores less than 20 points, Chiefs are winning that game. I mean, Chiefs score 20 points by accident these days. So that's a stone cold lock right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Clay Wendler from Red Tribe Cinema. I will be back with none other than my KC bearded brother, Lance Twidwell of the Spoken. Stick with me. Welcome back to Shaggy-Shane's bye-week breakdown, Sunday, November 25th, 2018. Once again, is my guest to my left, my KC bearded brother, Lance Twidwell of the Spoken. What is up?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, man, it's an exciting time to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I know I say that on most of my shows, but son of a gun, it is, baby! Your Kansas City Chiefs are 9-2. Patrick Mahomes is breaking records nonstop. You are my stat brother. Whenever I need something brought down into greater explanation in a deeper category, Lance Twidwell will deliver to you on Twitter and Facebook, or even in person, or maybe at the beard store, which is KC Beard Company. Lance, there's a lot of talk about Patrick Mahomes and Drew Brees being in this MVP fight. The Saints are looking great. They're 10-1. The Chiefs are 9-2. What catches your attention most about that the MVP talk between Patrick Mahomes and Drew Brees?
Well, it's pretty amazing that we're already talking in same sentences with Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes in that same sentence. Like, that's amazing in itself. But if we're breaking it down, and I will say, I'll get out ahead of it and say that Drew Brees is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, if not the greatest quarterback, especially statistically, and he's one of my favorite players to ever play the game. Having said that, Drew Brees is not more valuable this season than Patrick Mahomes. And honestly, guys, it's not that close. I will say it's a two-man race right now, and it is Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes. But as this season has progressed, and you've seen what Patrick Mahomes meant to the Chiefs and how they win games and why they win games, and then you see on the other side with the Saints and how they win games and why they win games, you will see a glaring difference. And how I know that? Look at road games, just for instance. The greatest road game that the Saints have had this year was at Minnesota, who's a current playoff team. Drew Brees had 120 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The Saints won by 10. Okay? Patrick Mahomes had a combined 10 touchdowns against the Rams and Patriots on the road, and they lost by a combined 6 points. Like, there's no comparison here, guys. Like, the Chiefs are right up there with the Saints as far as the best team in football, and the larger majority of why the Chiefs are up there is because of Patrick Mahomes. The Saints have a two-headed monster in the backfield in Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. They have an amazing talent, and they probably have the best offensive line in football, not to mention one of the best coaches, and a defense that gets better and better every single week, which was talented all year long, but finally found their place. So, although I do believe Drew Brees deserves to be in the conversation, if you look at their numbers and you look at the value that Patrick Mahomes has brought this season, it's not close, and it's nothing against Drew Brees. It's just a praise to how great Patrick has been this season.
Great points, great points. Way to break it down. All right, everybody's talking about, will Patrick Mahomes break 57 touchdown? Will he get 57 or 58 touchdown passes? I'm going to ask you this, but I want to say it first. I don't think he will. And, of course, you know I'm not going to slam Patrick Mahomes. I just don't think that there's the importance to push Patrick Mahomes to throw 21 more touchdowns. If he does, hell yeah, I'll be the first in line like I was and always have been for Patrick Mahomes. But I just think when you look at the schedule versus the Raiders, here, let's look at the schedule now. We got the Raiders, Ravens at home, Chargers at home, at Seattle, and at home against the Raiders. I don't think there's a need to where the Chiefs are going to be in a shootout with the Raiders or the Ravens or the Chargers where Patrick Mahomes is going to have to throw 21 more touchdown passes. Like I said, I'm not saying he's not going to do it because Patrick Mahomes very well could and possibly can do it. But what I'm saying is I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes will throw 50 touchdown passes. I'm going to go 14. Patrick Mahomes will throw 14 more touchdown passes and end the season with 51. What do you think about that as you look at the last 5 games and breaking down that specifically, Lance?
Yeah, I think that it's almost a foregone conclusion that Patrick's going to drop at least 50 touchdowns this year. And every guy that's ever dropped 50 touchdowns in a season, which by the way is only 2 quarterbacks ever, which is Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, they both won MVPs those 3 years they did it.
Yeah.
So it's almost a foregone conclusion. If he gets 50 touchdowns, you can't give a lifetime achievement award to Drew Brees, who's going to finish with a great season, around 4,600 yards and about 45 touchdowns. That's an MVP caliber season, but what Patrick Mahomes is doing. So I actually do believe that Patrick's going to get close to that 57 mark. The actual record is Peyton Manning's in 2013 with 55 touchdowns. Okay. I actually think he's going to get that mark. I think he'll either tie it or get one more. And the reason why I think that, not just because I think Andy Reid's going to want him to get that record, but like I just said in my last take that I had, the Chiefs need Patrick to score touchdowns for them to win games. Even in losses, like I said, he's had 10 touchdowns in their 2 losses. So they clearly need him to do that. And I don't know if you've been checking, but it's not like the AFC's done. It's not like the AFC West is even done. I know the Chargers. I don't believe the Chargers can win this division because the Chiefs are just better, right, and they outclass them, and they have a home game in Arrowhead.
Right.
But it's because of the fact that I think the Chiefs realize we can't take anybody for granted. This stretch coming up is not the most difficult stretch of the season, but is in no way a given. Right. I do believe they're going to handle their stuff against the Raiders and the Chargers coming up. But Baltimore's the type of team that can turn it on any given week, can run the ball. Now that Lamar Jackson's probably going to be their quarterback, he's going to run the ball, and he's trouble. incredible athlete. I think Seattle's going to be tough. So the Chiefs are going to need Patrick to score touchdowns and score at a high volume. So I actually think there's a better chance that Patrick gets to 55 than he doesn't, because of the fact that every single game, at least going into week 16, week 17, because we don't know what's going to happen for the remainder of the season, but for these next 4 games or so, he's going to have to score touchdowns, and I do think he cracks around 53 to 56 touchdowns.
So you're giving up, I said 51, you are going to say right here tonight or this morning, what are you going to say?
I'm going to say, hey, congratulations, Patrick Mahomes owns the new single-season touchdown record.
Whoa!
I mean, it's not, and look, it's not because of my homerism, not because I love Patrick Mahomes, and I mean, maybe so, but I'm looking at the numbers. He's averaging well over 3 touchdowns a game. This season's nowhere near over, like I said. He's going to have to score touchdowns at a high volume. He's already at 37. He's got a great head start with several games to go. Home games, by the way, too. You're looking at 55 touchdowns. I'm going to say 55, 56 touchdowns.
You heard it here from Lance Twidwell of The Spoken, as well as Clay Wendler of Red Tribe Cinema. My Chiefs Kingdom freaks, worldwide of all ages, this is an ecstatic time to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Trust me, I just turned 49 1 week ago, November 18th. This is the best Kansas City Chiefs offense I have ever seen in my life. And people may come back with, well, it's just like the 2003 Chiefs. No, it's not. This team is better on offense. I know there's still some defense issues, but I believe that with the Eric Berry coming back, that it's going to make a bit of a difference. You want to touch on Eric Berry's return before we say goodbye, Mr. Twidwell?
Absolutely. I've been saying all along, since I heard that Eric Berry's going to start practicing again, it's very simple. I don't expect Eric Berry to ever be the great Eric Berry that we once knew. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't expect it. I think he's going to be around 60 to 65% Eric Berry. It doesn't matter, though. Because having your leader on the team back, having him back on the field, regardless of what magnitude or what aspect he brings to the table, the fact that he's going to be back is going to elevate this defense's morale and confidence. You have to give him that much credit, because what he does, it goes deeper than just the statistics, the box score, and what he can do on the field. He brings so much leadership to that team. I know it's a cliche to say that, but it is the truth. Eric Berry does elevate this team automatically just having the 2-9 jersey back on and back on the field. So I expect when Eric Berry returns, I'm not expecting him to be a great player, but his value is great, and I expect that to take this defense to the next level.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday, November 25th. It's snowing here in Kansas City. People are freaking out. But you got it right here with Shaggyshane and Clay Wendler and Lance Twidwell. We are ready for the second half season, the final 5 games to take over in the stretch run, taking us to the playoffs with a franchise quarterback who is the man, Patrick Mahomes. Until next week, Shaggyshane will be breaking down the Oakland Raiders game. Thanks again, Mr. Wendler, and thanks again, Mr. Twidwell. Until next week, this is Shaggyshane and Lance Twidwell saying, Go Chiefs!